Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review. And I'm here today to talk to you about I Am Frankie Season 1, Episode 1, The Pilot. Now the pilot is called two different things. The pilot is broken down into two episodes. They later made into a hour-long feature. The original first episode was called I Am Against, and then the second one is I Am in Danger. But when you look up it on like Wikipedia, for the most part, it says season 1, I Am in Danger. Um, it's Nickelodeon being Nickelodeon. So yes, this is a Nickelodeon show, and I love it to death. It came back out in 2017, and sadly, it only lasted for 2 seasons. Both seasons are like excellent, but the second season is slightly more different than that of the first. Not only that, but certain characters disappear and new ones are added. And it's never explained what happened to those characters in the first season. And these are like recurring characters and stuff. But it's just kind of like, okay, where are they? They're like no mention of them. And then something else kind of disappears. Like it's the same but different. But this is based off a Spanish show. I cannot pronounce the Spanish show. Um, I'll just link it like below or something like that. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it and stuff. But this was a really good series on Nickelodeon, and it felt so different than most of the stuff you see on Nickelodeon. Like I'm not really a Nickelodeon fan for the most part. I'm more of a Disney Channel fan when it comes to like shows like this. And so like this was just different. It felt like it should have been like on another network. It didn't feel like a Nickelodeon show. It felt like an actual real sitcom and stuff. Basically, what this is about an teenage android who lives with a family. It's very much like Small Wonders, but updated to modern day and updated in a very good way. Now this android, she can connect to like the internet and stuff like that. It's just such a really good. I just think because the second season went into a different like shift. I think that kind of like annoyed some people because they were kind of like, well, what about this and what about that and what happened to this person? And I don't know. It just also because Nick probably was just kind of like, this is like so much different than all wacky shows. Let's just get rid of it probably. But it was a great show. It used to be on Hulu, but because CBS is so greedy with money and they all want to pay a third party, it is now on Paramount Plus. So that sucks. And it's actually funny because like I remember like I started watching this show around the time the second season was about to come out. I had never even heard of this show. It wasn't until I was watching Watch Mojo and they were talking about how great this show was. I'm just like, and I started watching that video. I'm just like, wow, that really is cool and stuff like that. And so it has an excellent cast. And it was just a fun, updated version of Small Wonders. And if you don't know what Small Wonders is, look it up on YouTube. They have episodes there. It was a show that came back out like in the 80s or early 90s, late 80s probably, about a little girl who was an android and had to pretend to be an android. She talked like a robot and all kind of cool stuff. And this is exactly how, like, this is literally just Small Wonders, but like modern with a teenager instead of a kid. And so it starts off with this woman. Her name is Sigourney, and she's a doctor, a scientist, and she's working on this android, right? She's trying to power it up, but like something's like going haywire, but then like there's a malfunction, but then the android wakes up and it calls her Dr. Mom. And so like 3 weeks later, they're like she has to like present this for her boss, right? They work for a company called Egg. I forgot what it stands for, but the head dude, he has like a egg shaped like robot that flies around. Now, what's interesting about her boss? I forget her boss's name. I'll do it in the rundown review. His name changes between seasons and stuff. And it's kind of weird. Like, there's so much stuff changed in the second season. And I don't know why. But, so, like, her assistant, this one dude, he's talking about how, like, this is amazing and all this and that. And I just hope it doesn't like happen like the last project. And then she stops him. And it's kind of like the last time, or what are they talking about? And so she presents it to her boss, but he's not really all that impressed. And he finds out it's an android with an AI. He does not want an android with an AI. He keeps talking about like the last time. And it's kind of like, well, what is the last time they're talking about? And so obviously she must have created another android and something went wrong and stuff. And so like, and then when I get down to the rundown review, like when they keep talking about the last time, they keep seeing Frankie. It's just weird, and I'll explain that later when I do the rundown review. Anyway, so um, Frankie is demonstrating like all her skills, all her strength, and he starts to see that, you might not be for Egg, but you could be for this company called Warper. Now they don't explain what that is in the first episode, but whatever it is dangerous. And they say they use um, stuff for like weapons of like destruction and stuff like that. It's like one of those government type like facility type places. Well, the doctor lady doesn't want the android used for like a weapon. So she devises a way to sneak it out with the help of her assistant. Now she's trying to hurry him get home because it's her little daughter's Jenny's birthday, right? And so when she's trying to sneak the android out, they think, she's trying to sneak it and put it in her car. They unveil it and it's actually a birthday cake. Turns out the android was already in the car dressed as a lab assistant. But who's in the room pretending to be the android? Well, it's the assistant dude who stayed there all night playing video games and stuff. So now the head dude, he's pissed and he's looking for the android and stuff. Cause he told Warper, and if he doesn't deliver, they're gonna go all Warper on him. So Dr. Sigourney Gaines, which is her name, she heads back home and she shows her family the android. And her daughter Jenny is kind of like, is this supposed to be my birthday present? And so like they now have to move because Sigourney stole this thing and they can't be found. So they get set up in a new place very far away, many miles away. That's very convenient when you go towards the end of the season. So anyways, her friend named James, who used to work for Egg, who's like also builds like stuff, he helped her set up a new place and everything. And he wants to see like the android and he's very shocked and surprised. And it's kind of like I said before, when I do the rundown review, when you get towards the end of the season, it's kind of like, why is everybody not like picking up on something? And so like, he stayed like he's very impressed and all this other stuff. So they get acquainted in their new home and everything. And the cool thing about Frankie is that like she speaks very robotic. Like you can tell there's something up with her that's not quite human. Jenny does not like her whatsoever. And so one thing that's unique about Frankie is that when she talks to people and calls them by their name, she doesn't just say their first name. She says like their first and last name always. And so like she makes Jenny like her by like helping her and stuff. So she takes all the cardboard boxes and she makes like a giant movie screen and like a giant like throne chair. And Frankie has the ability to like shoot a projector from like her eyes, and she's able to upload anything from the internet and download it and stuff. So she's downloading a lot of memes and like funny videos that are making Jenny happy. But now Jenny wants to play like princess and stuff. So she makes a giant castle and the crown and the sword and all this other stuff. Now, even though Frankie has access to the internet and everything, she really doesn't access anything until she needs to. So she's very aloof to like everything around her. And she does not understand. Well, she has to go to school for some bizarre reason because I guess the people in the neighborhood see a teenager always hanging around and they're going to start asking questions. So she goes to school and her mom, they call her, I guess you can call her mom now because she's part of the family. And so that's what the whole part is. I am a gains come in. So like when she goes to school, her mom tells her straight up, do not tell nobody you're an android, no matter what. And but she's also programmed not to lie, so it's kind of contradicting her programming and stuff. And so when she goes to school, she impresses everybody in her class by doing an equation on the board. Now, this one girl was doing the equation and she didn't get to finish. And turns out she was doing it wrong, but Frankie did it right. So this pisses off that girl. This girl's best friend is Tammy. Tammy is the mean girl at school. And so, like, because of that, she has a vendetta against like Frankie for like doing her friend's equation and stuff. But then her vendetta turns even bigger when Frankie is like walking around outside and she meets a guy. Now, before she meets the guy, she meets a couple other people. This one girl named Dayton Reyes. I gotta say, because of Frankie and the way she calls people by their first and last name, I just can't say Dayton without saying Dayton Reyes. Like, it just feels right. She meets a guy named Byron, who's like really into like robots and stuff. And so, like, the guy she meets, she's trying to like head home, but because it's about to start raining and she can't get wet whatsoever. And so, like, she is like, she determines it will take like 20 miles an hour to get back home. Well, she can run really fast, but she starts to like jog a little bit. But then she sees the tree and thinks, oh, I can just stand under this and be safe. But it's a scraggly little tree, but very few branches. Then, as she's about to leave, she meets Cole Reyes, which is Dayton's brother. And she's smitten by him. Like, she's just staring at him like she's in love and stuff, which is impossible because she has no emotions and stuff. And so it rains and she gets wet and you start seeing little sparks coming from her, but he doesn't notice that. Tammy sees this, like see her looking at him, and she's now forever pissed at Frankie and hates her guts because she likes Cole, and you know how girls get when they get jealous. And so Cole helps Frankie by putting the umbrella under her, and she takes it and she goes home. When she gets home, it's determined that the water did more damage than it was supposed to, and she shuts off. So the mom has her daughter Jenny run to the store and buy a bunch of rice, but steal the shopping cart. Wow, Nickelodeon really teach you some valuable lessons how to steal. Not sure why. She just couldn't get the dad to drive her, but whatever. I guess he was at work. So they used the rice to absorb all the moisture in Frankie and stuff. But then it's determined that some of her motherboard circuitry has been fused together when it overheated. And Sigourney says that, you know, this has now changed Frankie. It's now changed her, like, protocol and stuff, and they don't know how exactly she's gonna change. And then Jenny's all like, I hope this doesn't happen like the last time. And this is kind of like, why was Jenny so taken surprise when she saw an android in the way she did when she knew something happened last time? So that part isn't really explained that well and written that well. So James comes over and he wants to eat. And so since they have tons of rice, they cook a giant like rice meal and tacos and stuff. But James is not only there just to eat, he's there to steal Sigourney's like memory files in her laptop. Okay, he wants to build his own android, and he starts to. But he also uploaded like a computer virus and stuff to the laptop that somehow affecting like Frankie a little bit. So anyways, when they're all at school again, Frankie, she's not supposed to eat. Oh, I forgot. When she was at dinner eating the rice and stuff, she was going to eat like a piece of chicken. No, it wasn't tacos they were having. They were having chicken and rice. That's right. So she was going to eat a piece of like chicken. And Jenny made her stop because Sigourney told her, you don't have a digestive system. So you're unable to eat food, which is very similar to Small Wonders. And in Small Wonders, many seasons later, they gave her something so she can start eating food. Same thing happens to Frankie later on in the series. So, the doctor lady realized that Frankie was imitating James as he was eating, which is something babies do, and she's surprised by that because Frankie shouldn't be doing stuff like that. Well, she's the like, and so like the whole series, Frankie, because her motherboard circuitry got like fused and like hotwired, fried and stuff, she now wants to start acting more human and being more human. So that's what the whole season is basically about. Her trying to fit in and trying to act more human, but still talking in that robotic kind of way, you know. Um, so when she's talking to kids at school, her mom calls her on a video chat, but her mom tells her straight up, like, if there are other kids around or anybody else around, go in a private room. So she goes there and then in the restroom, and her mom tells her you need to upload like a file, so and stuff like that. So she begins to upload it, but realizes that the internet strength where she at is low. So she starts looking for like places with a higher like Wi-Fi signal. And it turns out in other countries, like in Asian countries, their Wi-Fi is a lot stronger than ours. And they can download stuff faster. But of course, she can't get to Asia. So she realizes that the Wi-Fi upstairs in the school, in the computer lab, will be more efficient and stuff. So as she's talking to her mom, she keeps calling her mom like Dr. Mom, and her mom's just like, just call me mom and everything. So that's the only time she ever like shortened something. And so her mom is also trying to teach her like slang terms, how to use, because she uses words like efficient and stuff like that. And her mom just like, just say uh-huh or okay. And then, but she can't figure out which one to say, so she ends up saying both. So every time she's like, anybody's like, are you all right? She's like, uh-huh or okay. Because that's how like her programming is. And so like she goes upstairs and she hooks herself up to like one of the computers in the back of her neck. It's like a USB port. And so Dayton went to go follow her for some reason and realizes that, hey, this is like a wire sticking out from the back of your neck. She's all like, Frankie, what are you? Now, Frankie is supposed to tell people, like, she's not supposed to tell nobody. She's a robot, remember? But like I said before, her programming makes it to where she cannot lie. And then so, you know, Dayton constantly asks, like, are you some kind of like robot or something? And then it ends. And so like, it's like I said before, it's a really interesting series. It's a very, very good series, but it's a very non-traditional Nickelodeon series. And because normally with Nickelodeon shows, they start off strong, like say iCarly or True Jackson, but then after a while they get kind of weird and stupid and silly, and stuff like that. And that's normally when I phase out. But with this series, it was just straightforward, but with humor, but without a laugh track. It was very like I said, it should have been on another network and stuff. It's just so weird. And the actress who plays Frankie, my God, she does an amazing job. I think her name is Alex Hook. And she literally acts like a real life android. The way she looks, the way she moves, like the way she talks, the way she blinks her eyes, the way she tilts her head. She's like, you get feelings of Commander Data from Star Trek The Next Generation. Like, that's how good she is at it. Which I don't understand why now she's finding a hard time finding work. In fact, like, everybody in this show can act, but yet the only person who's really getting roles of any kind is like the mother now. Like, nobody else is really getting any roles, and it's kind of weird because they can legit act. Like the little Jenny girl, she's perfect for like a Disney Channel or a Nickelodeon show, but this is the only show she's ever done for some bizarre reason. I just don't get it. But yeah, you can watch this on Paramount Plus. You have to pay for it, which really sucks now. I remember on Hulu, which you still gotta pay for, but like I have Hulu and stuff, you know. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.